Hi, my name is Kamaya Lewis. I selected the recipe Machbous Rubyan from the country Saudi Arabia. I selected Saudi Arabia because the flag design caught my attention. My favorite color is green and the flag is also green, so that made me click on it. But other than the color, the design was pretty cool. The design on the flag was simple yet powerful. The small details on the art really gathers people's attention to look more into Saudi Arabia. I chose this recipe because it looks simple yet delicious. Machbous Rubyan is a meal that consists of rice and shrimp. I am not the greatest in the kitchen, so I wanted to choose something that was not too hard to make. I also considered time and money. It is estimated to take about an hour and 10 minutes, which is a good amount of time for me. It only has 7 steps, which doesn't seem too hard. The ingredients for the recipe also did not seem too expensive, normal price. I wanted something that did not have to be so many ingredients, along with not being so pricey. This recipe seems perfect for me because it checks off all the requirements that I wanted. So I found a couple of interesting facts about the Saudi Arabia culture. So Saudi Arabia has very different eating etiquette than the U.S. In Saudi Arabia, dinner is served from 10 p.m. to midnight. Dinner is often a together meal than lunch because most people have a large lunch. This meal is served from leftovers from lunch rather than a whole new meal entirely. The leftovers could include a rice and meat meal, stew, or even hummus with a side of salad or fruit. To continue, Saudi Arabia is one of the largest importers of live sheep. They imported around $287 million worth of live sheep. The demand for live sheep in Saudi Arabia is for fresh meat to eat. They serve this meat at ritual holidays and celebrations. The meat from the sacrificed sheep is served to family and friends. My last fact is that in Saudi Arabia, they often divide by gender. In restaurants, there's a section for men and another section for women and their families. This also applies to private homes. Men sometimes eat separately than the women and the children. Additionally, men are served first, and then they bring out the platter to the woman and the children to finish the rest. Machbous Rubyan is a dish that is traditionally consumed on special occasions and large family gatherings. It is more for a celebration that is meant to be shared than a common everyday eaten dish. To continue, in Saudi Arabia, Machbous Rubyan is consumed differently than other countries. In Saudi Arabia, they all sit on the ground with a metal platter, while in the U.S., we sit on chairs and use the tables. This recipe is prepared with spices mixed in rice, which is not very common outside the Gulf Coast. Adding almonds also makes the dish unique. Personally, I have never had or even heard of any type of peanuts in a rice and meat dish. So I did change a couple things in my recipe. I will not be adding almonds because my brother is allergic to them. But other than that, I honored the dish the best I could when cooking. I really tried my best to get everything right and the measurements right and make sure it was just like how it is usually in their culture. So the ingredients for this meal was 3 tablespoons of ghee, 1 medium onion, 1 tablespoon of ginger, 2 cloves of garlic, 1 cup of rice, 1.5 pounds of shrimp, 2 cups of water, 1 large tomato, 2 teaspoons of parsley. The kitchen utensils that I used for this dish was a cutting board, a knife, a fork, a pot with the lid, a big spoon to plate my food, a plate, and the different measuring cups that were needed. Example 1 was shrimp. Shrimp is high in protein and has fatty acids and vitamin B12. This is good because it helps with the heart. It could prevent heart disease, but shrimp is also bad because it has lots of cholesterol and can raise bad cholesterol levels. Example 2 was basmati rice. This rice gives the body energy because it's high in carbohydrates. It also has vitamin B, which helps the body turn food into energy. One bad thing about it is that it does cause blood sugar to rise quickly, which could be a problem for people with diabetes. Lastly, G, this has vitamin A, D, E, and K, which helps the vision, bone strength, and immune system. But it's high in saturated fat and can cause high cholesterol and increase heart disease risk. This dish has shown me a lot about the different cultures. It showed me how closely food is tied to geography and tradition. This dish also introduced me to different spices and the history of Saudi Arabia. It also taught me that the food represents family connection.